guys, so what I'm going to do, I've done this sketch, as you can see, and it's fairly rough, a little bit rough, all that, that's a bit rough, made a bit of a mess there, changing mind on what I was going to do, all that, very kind of loose, backgroundy, all that. I'm going to try and get some colour on this. Now, I say try and get some colour because I am really suffering in this heat. My studio just turns into an oven. The sun like directly hits it, and I am roasting in here. I'm absolutely roasting. I've got no fan or anything, no AC obviously, because it's England and we mostly don't have AC. So it's cooking me alive basically. So I'm not sure whether I'll be able to do it or not, to be honest with you. But I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to give it a try, and we'll see how we get on. And if I have to stop, I mean, you probably won't know anyway, because if I can't do it today, I'll pick up tomorrow. If I can't do it tomorrow, I'm going to have to do it sooner or later anyway. We'll see how we get on. We'll see. I think there's going to be a lot of sweating involved, which is quite unpleasant when you try and do a piece of work. But, you know, luckily for me, it's paint markers. It's not alcohol markers. So technically, I could drip sweat all over it and it'd be fine. But anyway, let's try not to do that and see how we get on. Okay, so remember, this stage is all about just getting paint on the surface. That's all it's about right now. I'm not interested in finishing. Now, you may notice that the glasses are looking a little bit more finished around the edges than everything else. That's just because once I get the glasses in position, I know they're in the right place. I can sort of build around everything else. For some artists start anywhere. You know, some artists start in a very specific place. I always start with the eyes. Once I know the eyes are in place, I can sort of build everything proportionately around that. So as long as I know they're in place, I'm laughing, I'm fine. So I've got the paint on, the first layer. As you can see, it's incredibly scrappy. I quite like all this, you know. I quite like it when it's all scrappy and horrible. I mean, it also makes me deeply uncomfortable, which says a lot about me. But I sort of like it. You know, you see the bare bones of what this is going to be. Forget all this for the time being. This, in a way, is the easy bit, because this is all going to be monochromatic. It's all like shades of... It's going to be shades of pink, which is why the reflected light on him is pink. I've not done a reflected light on his glove. I'm not... blah, blah, blah. You know, don't worry about that. That's all finishing. Right now, it's just about getting the paint on the surface to cover. That's it. That's it. Now it's going to be about coats and all that sort of stuff. So, what the hell was I going to do? Yeah, the more observant amongst you may have noticed that I'm working light to dark. In painting, this is not always the best way. Working dark to light is often better. Good examples of this I've given before. Uncle Ewan on Instagram, Ewan. Check him out if you don't already watch his stuff. He's a fantastic painter. He always works dark to light. Jim Murray's another guy. A lot of really good painters basically work dark to light. Now, the reason I'm not working dark to light is I find I can work much quicker if I work light to dark. I'm working in mixed media as well. That's another reason that I'm doing it, because I work with pencils, and I guess sometimes I just think it's more convenient for me. It's not a great reason, is it? But, you know, it sort of feels like it is. One of these days I'm going to work dark to light and you'll see what I mean, because I do work dark to light sometimes and you can get great effects that way. And sometimes when I can't get effects on the secondary light, I will go back in, I'll dark it instead, go really dark on it, and then I'll do light highlights over the top, and you'll see what I mean. I will do it, I promise you. One of these days I'll do it and you'll see what I mean. For that, I mean, a lot of people already know what I mean, but for those of you who don't know what I mean, you will see. But not yet. Today this is going to be about working light to dark. So you can see you got all these bits working on cardboard. You got all these bits, and it needs to be given a bit of a scrub to get all these bits off. Otherwise, I'll be tripping over them on my nibs the whole time. It stands quite a good scrub as well, as you can see. You know, it will take a bit of rough and tumble once it's on, because it is acrylic. So you can give it a good old rub. There you go. Get all the bits off it. Okay, let's go in, slap some more coats on this. Okay, this is shaping up now, isn't it? This is still looking a bit scrappy. This is very, very translucent, this orange. It's going to need another coat for sure. Sometimes when you get your outline on, it looks a lot better anyway, and you don't really care. This is the benefit of painting generally, is that I'm always wondering how much paint to put on, because sometimes a nice painterly effect, you know, of the paint is part of it. We get very obsessed in sort of graphic work. I think we get very obsessed with giving like very uniform finishes. Do you know what I mean by that? Like very solid blocks of colour with no texture in them, or no inconsistency and stuff like that. And like I said to you before, I quite like imperfection. Quite like it that you get a bit of imperfection sometimes, and you see that again I'm going to talk about Ewan's work. You see a lot of imperfection in that way in his, and it adds to the work, because it adds texture and sort of feel and roughness, and you know, it's nice, it's really nice. So anyway, with this, what I'm going to start doing now is I'm going to start adding outline in, and maybe going a bit dark to light every so often. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see, maybe not as well. I don't know, we'll see. So I'm going to try a little red outline in his specs. I don't know if it's going to work or not. So what the hell, if it doesn't, I'll just go over it. So cracking on now. I like that red in there. It works fine for me. As you can see, I'm just testing out a bit of mixed media in there as well with the old pencils, and it works fine actually. You might have noticed as well, I stripped away the other big sticker, the big address sticker, because I can't blend properly with the wax pencils on it, so I've got rid of it, because I hate it. Yeah, I tried a little bit of grey here as well. I don't normally use this one, which is why it's so long, but I'm going to use a grey pencil on there. Normally I'd use a paint marker, but I'm thinking I'm using mixed media anyway, so I might as well go in with this one, see how I can get it. You might have noticed here that sometimes you get this effect. You get this in painting as well. I do this on the wall all the time, where I've put an outline on, put a rough outline on, and I suddenly realise I can use the rough outline instead of putting a big line in it. That outline there, I might just use that outline. Might just leave that the way it is. Sometimes, you know, happy little accidents, as Bob Ross used to say. We'll see though, we'll see. I might change my mind about that. We will definitely see. Okay, let's crack on. What's next? Probably got to get maybe a bit of shade on this hand or something. I've got to get some orange on this. I don't know if this is dry yet. It seems to take a long time to dry, this one. This orange here. Yeah, let's leave that alone. Let's tackle the glasses. To look a little bit more presentable now, isn't it? Starting to look a little more like it's gonna look when it's all done. So I've deliberately let this clear, by the way, because I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with it. There's a pencil I'm going to use to put the darker shade of the secondary light in, but I don't know if I can blanket cover that. I might have to use Molotovs instead. Where is it? This one. Might have to use this one, this colour, which is the same colour as his nose. It's a great colour, but I don't have to blend them together. I like blending with the pencil because I love the effect, as I'm sure you do as well. So yeah, you can tell now I've got a little bit of an outline on. Line weight isn't quite right yet, but that's fine. I'm happy with it. So far, so good. Let's crack on. What I'm going to do next? Let's keep you in the loop. So what I'm going to do next? I'm going to work on all these bits. Start getting the darker tones into the secondary light. Start getting the darker tones in where the light crosses over from secondary light into primary source, all that kind of stuff. I want to do all this before I tackle all this. This will be done really quickly. So it's all this area really. Somebody once said, a wise person once said, when you look at something, you look at the middle of it. Make sure the middle bit is the bit that is the best. I can't remember who said that. Somebody really famous said that. Can't remember. Doesn't matter. Who cares? Let's crack on. So it's shaping up nicely. The orange is ropey. A word to the wise as well. So when you're laying down colour with Molotovs, the problem with this is that unless you want to spend hours waiting for it to dry, which I don't, by the way, get very bored. What you're going to do is you're going to lay it down, and it's not going to be quite hard enough, and you're going to go over it with a pencil, and if you go over it too much, it's going to take the paint off. It's happened just here. It's happened down here a bit. Around there. Basically where the orange is. The orange is a very, very sort of slow drying colour for some reason. The rest doesn't seem too bad. A little bit of problem with the pink there, but you know, that's generally okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain, to be honest, but again, I'm not striving for perfection. There's something about this technique that it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect. In fact, it sort of adds to it slightly, so I'm not going to get too hung up about it. This isn't looking quite finished yet. I've done some brown pencil down here. I've done like brown, red and orange, and I don't think it's looking quite dark enough actually. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm getting hung up about details. Maybe it don't matter. Yeah, need to finish this hat really, don't I? I've been ignoring it the whole time, but I'm done with the glow. I'm not going to do any more of the glow. I could do a lot more around there with greys and stuff, but you know, there's nothing to be gained from it particularly, so I'm not going to bother. So I'm going to tackle the hat now. Let's crackle. Apologies, my battery packed up on the phone as it was recording, so you probably missed a little bit of that, whatever it was. I don't know which bit I was doing. You probably know. Anyway, I'm nearly done on this now. I'm nearly done. It's quite, I'm noticing it's quite light, as in there's a lot of light hitting it. I'm okay with that, actually. I'm fine with that. No, it's not a problem. Should have probably done this in a different colour. There's still stuff showing through, but I don't really care that much, to be perfectly honest. Do I care about anything else? There's odds and sods that needs to be done. Just bits of shadow and stuff like that. Reflection in his glass. Well, you know, bit of highlight in his glasses. Tidy that up a little bit. Bits and pieces. So let's just do that. We'll finish that off, and then he's done. There we go. He's pretty much finished. I say pretty much. I'm going to see little details like that. They just need a little bit of TLC. Yeah, there he is. So the idea is, all this stuff in the background, it's all going to be monochromatic. So I'm pushing bits further back and all that, you know, usual stuff, landscapey kind of stuff. Whether it will work or not, I don't know. The beauty of paint is I can always paint over it if it doesn't. What else to say about that? So the idea was, whatever, so all this is throwing the light onto him, basically, which is why you got this pink light there. This is all going to be pink. Ideally, I wouldn't have done it pink. Ideally, I'd have done it blue. But all my blue has run out. Well, I've got darks. I've got dark blues and stuff like that, but I don't have enough blues to work with, basically. If I needed one lighter blue, basically, and I could have been okay. In fact, I'm looking now thinking I could have used it. No, forget it. I needed a lighter blue, and I didn't have a lighter blue, and so I went with pink instead, and we will see how it comes out. I'm not going to do the background now. I'm going to show you that when it's done. I'm going to do it, and then, you know, offer it up to your scrutiny. See if you like it. There's probably going to be something like a bit of a cloud or something around here. You can see a few of my pen lines. I don't really care very much. Don't really care about that. Who's looking, right? But I might do a bit of a cloud or something just to add to it a bit. Don't know. Let's see. We will see. But there you go, guys. That's the character. Sorry, I'm trying to give you a bit of view. There's the character, and next time you see it, this background will be in, and with a bit of luck, it'll be something actually worth looking at. But we'll see. We will see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that.